I think the training now is just totally different. It's evolved in so many different moves and concepts and actions, so it's different. But yeah, Keon Dooling was my very first.
Okay, so he taught you, then you taught him back essentially.
I wouldn't, yeah. So I wouldn't say, yeah, exactly. So like he taught me how to work on my game, and I remember, you know, if he's been teaching me, it's weird for me to be training him now, right? So like, as I stopped playing myself, and he's seen me every year, like, you know, people change jobs. The hardest thing in life is figuring out what you want to do in life, right? People might say they want to be a firefighter, get into it and be like, you know what, this ain't for me, quit, try something new. Get into being the police, quit, try something new. I think when he saw me saying, I'm not trying something new, I don't care what the light at the end of the tunnel is, I'm just working and grinding and stacking days and trying to make this my profession because of the love of the game, right? He said, you know what, it's time for you to start training me. Because I remember my brother, I would love to just talk to him after games. Like, you know, as a kid, you never have NBA friends. You grow up watching these guys on TV. So when you finally get an NBA friend, and I got his number, you gotta be crazy. I'm calling him every second. Hey bro, why did you do this? How did you do that? How did it feel guarding this person? Why didn't you do this? It went from like that to, hey man, you should have drove, you should have made the extra pass, you should have hold your follow through. Started getting to that conversation now. And then he starts listening, starts doing it in practice. He's like, bro, you know what, that advice you gave me in practice is kind of like low-key working. So like that following summer, it was just like, hey, you know what? It's time for me to let you work on my game. I remember Keon came into the league. He was a non-shooter. He was somebody that needed work on his, you know, three ball. You know, he can get to his pull up. He was a freak athletically, can get to the rim whenever he want. His pace was very fast. So that's two things that I always wanted to work on, was pace and to slow him down, but keep him fast, show him a middle speed too as well. But also work on his tray ball, because I saw this coming in the NBA changing. So we really worked on it one summer, man. He went up almost 10% from three, you know, made almost 40 more threes that season, 40, 50 more threes that season. And I'll never forget it. You know, it wasn't no Instagram or Facebook or anything. So it was like, after the game, it was only one way you could hear an interview. You know, you weren't going to hear the playbacks on Instagram or anything like that. So I remember him saying, you know, honestly, it's my coach, my shooting coach back home, Remy. And like, once he said that, like, it was crazy. It was so many people calling. I'm like, yo, I want to get with him. Like, well, what did he do? How did he do it? Like, whatever he did, bro, I want to do it. And it just started flowing from there, for sure.
So who was the next clients after him? Who were one of the people that hit you?
Who was it? I'll probably say like Malik Allen, who also used to train with us while I was still playing as well, because he played for the Heat. And I was still a player, but we knew each other from there. But once I turned trainer, he was like, oh, I'm about to start getting work with Remy every offseason as well too. Like, he taking this thing serious. Then Rasul came, then Udonis came. Like, it was just like a flowing James Jones. It just started flowing.
He was that guy. People don't know, he was that guy back then. Like, he played hard, man.
Nah, everybody knows that, man. I don't know why people think that. People don't know that. Udonis was Mr. Midi, the king mid-range jumper, the epitome of a energy guy that you know, was an amazing, always a top 5 rebounder for a whole decade. You know what I mean? Amazing defender. He was an undersized 4, right? That was versatile, guarding 3s, guarding 2s, guarding 5s, like he was like the new age Dennis Rodman with a jumper. You know what I mean? So Udonis was major, and also just major the culture of Miami, the culture of working hard. Look how he changed his body. He's somebody. His story is amazing. You know how he made the team. My good friend Tony Ferrantino, who's been in broadcast for Miami Heat for so many years, always tells me this story, you know, to tell kids and tell different people, man. Udonis made the team because they were chasing a loose ball, and this dude like went all into the stands, like, and just kept going and kept playing, and everyone's looking at him like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, and Pat Riley was just like, bro, why did you keep going? He said, I ain't stopped because I ain't hear no whistle. Like, that's sick. Like, if Pat Riley, as sick as Pat Riley is, he probably got goosebumps listening to that. He was like, well, I don't care what he does good, what he does bad, sign that guy, because his energy is probably going to be contagious. So, like, somebody like him to make it from the ground up like that, it's a blessing.
Just for playing hard, he got
playing hard.
Y'all hear that?
That's it.
just for playing hard.
Just for playing hard. That energy is contagious. So anybody that's not playing hard on your team, you see how hard Udonis is playing, you forced to play that hard. First and foremost, don't get it twisted. And y'all look at me when I say this in this camera. Udonis is probably the most in shape. He's playing consistent minutes. At this age right now, you play Udonis 20 minutes, he's going to average a double-double. I put anything on it. Because ain't nobody going to want it better than him, more than him. And if he's allowed to play his game, shoot his midi, and y'all don't even know, Udonis got a ratchet. So he's definitely evolved with the game and what's going on now, but it's a young man's league. It's a young man's league. And for somebody that's so competitive like him, of course, it bothers him. He understands that his why is bigger than him. So he gives his effort, his time, his spirits to the basketball team so that they could elevate. They can ask him questions because he's been there before. And most importantly, he ain't no vet sitting on over there with no cane. He'll beat you in sprints. He'll outshoot you. He'll out-rebound you. He'll out-hustle you in practice. So at the end of the day, he's leading by example both ways.
I've been in the lab with you. I always tell you how simple your workouts are and how it translates, because I've been watching a lot of film on Brandon Knight and how it's like a lot of the drills that you've been doing, it translates. Like, he does the exact same thing in the game. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I was watching some of his stuff last night. So what a lot of guys you've been training, like you had Jeff Green, Marvin Bagley now, you know, like a ton of players. Like there's like I can go down the list, to be honest.
Yep.
What's like your focus with each? Like, I know I'm guessing you go by position.
Yeah, I mean, you go by position, but the main thing I think as a trainer is to communicate with their teams, or even just do the research of how these guys are being used, right? You don't ever want the guys to go against the grain. I know everybody has aspirations to get better and add so many things during the summertime, but guess what? You bring all these tools back to your team and you can only use one of them. What would you wasted a whole summer, right? So whatever they want you to be, you be it, and you fall in love with that role, and you be the best in the world at that role, right? You win their confidence, and then you can do a little bit more, because there's a 10% gray area in the game where nobody has control, no coaches, no players, right? So you might get it with a low shot clock, 5 on the shot clock. You got to get into a step back shot. Guess what? If you're not working on that, what's going to happen when you have to shoot that low shot clock? 9 times out of 10, air ball, bad shot, block shot. But if you're working on that 10% where you put in the work after practice, you know what? If I have 40 minutes to work out, 10 of those 40 minutes, I'm going to work on my game. Things that I might not get to do in the game, but it's only 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes of it. The bulk of my work needs to be exactly how I'm being used, because you'll go against the grain of why a team wants to pay you. Like, at the end of the day, this is a job, it's an occupation that pays you lots of money, you know, to be in a role. Why not star in that role? Why not, you know, embrace that role and be the best at it, instead of, man, you know, I need to work on my trade ball because everybody else is doing it. That's cool, but you better not waste too much time doing it, because it's going to take away from you embracing your role and falling in love with your role. You're going to more so fall in love with the 10% instead of the 90.